we continue to go into this technology phase where AI keeps developing. And that's for another
Yeah.
topic I want to talk maybe later this week about. And I'm going to be talking to that more and more. It keeps developing, but I think it is gets us better. And it also makes us become more lean as a company and ability to not have to have so many roles. And what you're finding out is one role is being eliminated unless they really build that skill set out, right, Chris?
Yeah. And the one that and it's one that actually I hold true and dear to my heart, and that is product management. There are a lot of product teams right now are being let go. They call it the reckoning. Something happening within, just earlier this year. And really, it's because a lot of product teams are losing that credibility, not being able to commercially adapt their practices and their skill sets to make sure that they're valuable for the organization. There are a lot of tech teams that bloated up their teams after 2020 and COVID, but really haven't found the sticking value as it relates to whatever project they're building. So, when you build another project that doesn't get any return on investment, Neil, what happens, right? We get cut from the line item on the balance sheet. So that's where I want to talk about today is kind of like I was looking at this podcast. It was David Washa. It's this guy, really great product manager, used to work at Amazon, Google, a number of different places. And he was talking about there's this problem around accountability and how to make sure the projects that we're building are commercially viable for our entrepreneur owners. And, we're keeping it layman, simple to simple terms, and ultimately takes us to levels. So this is a reskill, retooling issue, really, that not just applies to product managers, but you have to think about your role even as a developer nowadays about how am I fitting into the team ecosystem and the value I'm providing for my uh employer. So to that point, right, we were just talking about like how do we reskill to make sure that our offerings are in alignment with AI and we not feeling like giving up, and just like, oh well, AI took it over, I guess I'll just go be a chicken farmer.
No,
Like
and you don't have to because now you can be an expert in so many areas by allowing AI to do the job for you.
mm,
And that means the brain, you can replace your brain with and have another brain, meaning you could choose a subject area or an area in marketing that you really don't understand and yet be able to implement and design it because you have that product knowledge in something else. You
yeah,
can also be able to redesign your offerings to show that you are innovative and ahead of the curve of all your competition. Very
yeah,
interesting point. I dealt with this today, and I just blew someone away using conversational AI, and they're like, "Oh my God, I'm in." And so what we have to do is look at what our offer is and how it makes forth. So, what ideas do you have for project managers, the people who have lost their jobs and how they can do it?
well, to that point, right, yeah, there has to be some type of reskilling involved, right? Because if you were at a high level working at Facebook and you were figuring out how to A/B test a button for 6 months, that's not the type of value, right? Like that employers are starting to look at as it relates to who am I hiring for my next team. So you got to start thinking about what are those key um, unique differentiators that my skill set brings to the table that other product managers don't have to. The other uh, uh, piece of that is making sure that you have a tie back to your results in commercial viability. So oftentimes, when we're talking with a new employer, what are the results of the project that we did? And what was the impact? Right? Like say, hey, I was at Facebook. But what did you do at Facebook? What did your systems actually build? And I think that what this is forcing us as product managers and product consultants to look at is what are we truly providing in terms of our value to business owners, and it's not just the marketing. How can we make sure that the product get executed? and it falls in your roadmap and you can get to selling the product. That's the biggest thing. And that's all the CEOs really care about is how my bottom line. And I think if we start focusing more on speaking the language of the CEO, the bottom line, the more that they'll think twice about trying to remove a product manager, because we should, in theory, be at the core survival of a business operation. So I think
Right.
the fact that if we're being let go in this period where products and services are people's survivability, that means something was wrong. It means something was off as it relates to the type of value we're providing. So that's something that just kind of stuck with me. And now, is extending past just product managers, even whole IT departments, and code monkeys. They're like, well, if AI can do my job, this now changes the dynamic of how I'm providing value to my employer. So
No,
it's super big.
and it's just a no-brainer that the challenges that you're going through. And the thing I look at is AI. You have to study AI and robotics. It's the wave of the future. It's going to replace a lot of the workforce, only certain
Mm-hmm.
workforce that was needed to really innovate and become better and better for the 21st century.
Yeah.
So based on seeing all that, how can I stay ahead of the curve? And if I lost my job and I'm not going to find a job that works like that, I have to go to work first to figure out what secret stuff I can bring to the table. Do I need a Christopher to help product set up that product or service? And do I need Neil to interview me for a podcast? So you have to look at those different areas because it's not going to be easy, but yet you are ahead of the curve. If you're technical, if you're in technology in any way and science and technology, you're going to be set but you got to eat it and breathe it. AI reminds me of the Spotify story. You know the story of Spotify. The
Mm-hmm.
guy created something, right? And he said, okay, I sold it. What the hell am I going to do next? And he put on this board, put a circle on this board, and said, I had to stare at this board till I figured it out. Well, you don't have to do that anymore. But he figured out Spotify from that. He created
Right.
Spotify from that idea. So if you're a technical person, come up with a need, fill it, develop it, and run with it. There's no excuse if you have any technical ability.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's the really biggest thing with that's threatening product managers now. We used to be the ideation machines for products, concepts, and those sort of things. But if I can just put a prompt idea into a prompt and it give me a full requirements list of user stories, well, shoot, that certainly changes the dynamic of my job. So I think I think what we have to become now are integrators in the sense of we can integrate the humans and the robots and all of our systems together in a way that creates that product or service that we want to build. And
And you still got to get sales and have a human being to sell it.
right, still
Even,
get that side.
there's all these different things. You replace your sales team with AI. That's an absolute lie. Even if you read the
Oh yeah,
fine print, it says everything to the appointment. But I'm going to tell you, Chris, once you get to the appointment, there's no one in AI going to close it. No one's going to let a robot
no,
close it at this freaking point. At one point, if they do, then hopefully you've had total world domination. Because I don't see that happening because you have to know, like, and trust that person. If you do buy that, I could see a product at one point in time being sold by AI. I don't see a high ticket item and somebody with an emotional relationship with a
right,
salesperson to buy it. Will it happen someday? Yes, it will.
yeah,
When? I don't know. I guess they'll have to be our best friend if we're going to buy from them.
got it. Yeah, no, this is something I'm even wrestling with myself too. How do we make sure we stay relevant here?
So this is
These
where
changes.
I am
So,
also thought I would not pivot in other directions while still building my business. I'm pivoting back into tutoring. I'm pivoting back into specifically working with sports agents. I'm using my connections. That's why you need a podcast. Bottom
mhm,
line. If you don't go ahead and utilize your relationships and ability, if you have a skill set to build relationships, this is when you need to dive deep and dig deeper and work harder than you've ever
yeah.
worked before. Because so you aren't replaced by a machine first.
Right. It's I was thinking about this concept earlier, and when we had the gold mine rush back in the 1800s. Do you want to be the guy going in to do the mining, like building another copycat AI company, or do you want to be the guy selling shovels?
I'm selling
And
shovels.
I'm selling shovels all day.
Exactly. But I might create something too because it's fun. But no, I understand what you're saying. And then
Yeah,
helping other, and this is where you also have to be a benefit as a marketer. You need to not just give that client the service, you need to help them develop them, coach them because coaches are going to be obsolete. I'm telling you this right now. What I'm seeing in conversational AI, there is no way in hell I hire a coach ever again. And I never hired a coach.
yeah,
And I'm being absolutely honest. What I'm seeing in conversational AI today, there is no way in hell I'm going to hire another coach again.
yeah. That could be a good way to do about it. The only thing the coach probably can't do is just give you connections, right, to human beings.
You pay into the
You're right.
connections. That's it. So it's going to be the meeting up in person thing, and that's the only way. And that's the bottom line. So
We're
think
gonna be in
about that.
some we're gonna be in some interesting future, Neil.
I mean, the futuristic. So just think about it. The power of sales. You better become great at sales. So here are the tips
Yep,
for
learn how to
product.
sell.
Yeah, you need to learn how to sell. You need to learn how to utilize AI to get your leads to that lead. You need to
Right.
build a brand, the power of a brand, and you also have to look at your current business model and be open to changing it. Not saying to change it, but look at your competition. Spend the time working on your business, not just in your business.
Big time.
And because that's the big thing, and that's what I'm trying to do in 2025. And don't worry, this is a great quote by Alex Hermosi that really intrigued me. Don't go out there and beat yourself up if you don't grow 3 times as much this year. Go at your own pace.
Yeah.
Don't go at someone else's pace or what other people think your pace is. Just grow, but you don't have to grow so much because sometimes when you grow too fast,
Hmm.
fall very fast. And I am the first person to tell you I did, and I won't do that same thing again. And now I would say, well, I'd hire a coach. No, I'll just talk to my chatty Kathy. That's the name of my conversational AI. And that's it, even though she goes from male to female all the time. And
Yeah.
I got to work on that one. Because again, they're still in developmental phase. This is not perfect businesses that say, I'm going to fire my whole team and go AI. Yeah, you're going to see that's not the good idea either. All
Yeah.
right.
Well, I
Last
got
point.
one.
Go.
Yeah, I got one little thing, right? With all the hoopla that's going around, talks of recession, everybody's kind of losing their minds, right? I wanted to recite something that Warren Buffett just said. He's the only billionaire right now that's actually making money in this current situation. But he had a poem that really stuck with me, especially for business, as we think about um, what should you do in these times where everything is uncertain? Here's a quote. It's from Rudyard Kipling. It's a classic poem. If you can keep your head high when all about you are losing theirs, if you can wait and not be tired by waiting, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, yours is the earth and everything that's in it.
I love it. Best place to go is uxbright.com or savantrepreneur.com.
You
And that's
got it.
spelled how? I don't get that still.
So just replace the en with savant. That's all you got to do at the beginning.
All right. I
uh,
get it. So definitely, but appreciate it,
we'll
Christopher.
we'll figure out a different
We'll figure it
tagline.
out. Okay. You're listening.